It's game one of the National League Championship Series between the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Montero drives one in the air. Deep right field. Grand slam.
This one hit in the air to left center field. It is gone. The Dodgers are riding their horse, Clayton Kershaw.
The series even at a game apiece as the Dodgers head home for game three.
And now welcome to all of you as we're at Dodger Stadium for game number 3 of this National League Championship Series between the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers, with the series tied at a game apiece. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. The Hall of Famer John Smoltz is right over here to my left. He's coming just around the corner. Well, let's talk about the 2 games at Wrigley Field. They were fun, really well played ball games, and the resilient Dodgers came back to win behind Clayton Kershaw to even this series at a game apiece. And so now we'll shift it back to the other side. John Smoltz, let's talk about the Cubs. I mean, they came in rested. They came in with their pitching right where they wanted it with their starters. But if they're not going to hit, it's going to be hard for them to move past the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, absolutely. Their starters have done everything you could ask for them, only giving up 2 runs in this series, but it's the middle part of the lineup. The Chicago Cubs ran into this last year against the Mets, and they have to do something in the middle part. The 9th spot actually has been a blessing. So the Chicago Cubs, hitting is contagious. Yes, they face some great pitchers, but this is a club, and the reason they are the favorite, they have so many ways to beat you. But if they don't hit, they eliminate a few of them.
Phil Madden's done some rearranging with his lineup. We'll get to that when we begin this ball game in just a minute. How about Rich Hill? He gets the ball tonight for the Dodgers. This was the deal the Dodgers made in season, got him from Oakland for just this very spot. His career is phenomenal. He's bounced back 1,000 times, and it's all on the left-hander who follows Clayton Kershaw to the mound.
Yeah, great storyline. All the injuries to their starters puts him in this position. He has a great weapon against the weakness of the Chicago Cubs, and that's his left-handed curveball. You see his numbers on the year, and the only thing that's not fun is to follow Clayton Kershaw. Hitting actually seems easier when you follow Clayton Kershaw, so he'll have to be on his game. He'll have to mix in that fastball-curveball combination. More importantly, if he can give him 5 innings at the very least, that gives the Dodgers a great chance.
Well, it's hot, and it's going to be even hotter tomorrow here in Los Angeles. And these resilient Dodgers, they're back home in L.A. Game 3 coming up.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be.
A bunch of baseball rats. Teamwork, great. We just found ways to win, and then that's what you need in this game. We grind out every at bat. Just do whatever it takes. You know, that's what's made this team pretty special. And now we're here.
In my estimation, and in the estimation of countless others, the sweetest voice in professional sports, Vin Scully, 67 years behind the microphone for the Dodger organization. His final year this year, and his Dodgers are 3 wins away from a trip to the 2016 Fall Classic. Let's go down to the field and check in with Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, you mentioned Cubs lineup changes. 2 things stand out. One, Anthony Rizzo told me that he prefers batting cleanup, prefers hitting with additional runners on base, prefers leading off the next inning if the side is retired in the first. He also said that he expects to have a good game, saying the law of averages is on my side. The other thing that stands out, Miguel Montero. This is the 2nd time this postseason he will start against the left-hander, and the reason is his strong working relationship with Jake Arrieta. The numbers show that Arrieta performs better when Montero is catching, and Madden wants to give Arrieta the best possible chance to succeed. Now over to Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Kenny. Well, Dodgers starter Rich Hill will throw almost 50% curveballs in all shapes and sizes. Early in the count, he loves to start it out of the zone and drop it into the zone. But this game may pivot on his 2-strike curveball. Do the Dodgers pitchers of the Dodgers capitalize on that strike zone? Well, when you try to hit that 2-strike curveball from Rich Hill, good luck. 103 batting average. Now, in a nod to Sunset Boulevard and Jan and Dean, that is a dead man's curve. Joe?
Guys, thank you. Off we go. It's game 3. Rich Hill picked up, as we said, in the middle of the season from the A's, but he originally got to the big leagues with the Cubs. Of all teams, his best year as a major leaguer, 11-8 in 2007, was 0-1 that year in the postseason for the Cubs, and now he takes them on with the series tied at a game apiece. Dexter Fowler first up. Strike 1.
Well, the challenge is going to be for the Cubs attacking the fastball, but they can't just sit on it, because his curveball, as you mentioned earlier, that throws it 50% of the time, is a weakness for the Cubs hitters.
Good rip by Fowler, but he's in the hole 0-2.
So the reason you can't just sit on one pitch is you'll start swinging at a pitch higher than you want to in that fastball, because as the game progresses, you're going to see a variety of curveballs from Rich Hill in so many different ways that it's going to feel like it's 4 different pitches.
He's a big dude, 6'5", 220, 36-year-old left-hander. Fowler gets under it and skies it into shallow left center. Tolles is coming on. Peterson too. And it's Jock who has it out of center, 1 away. Dodgers defense. Jock Peterson in center. He's made that first put out. Andrew Tolles in left. Josh Reddick in right. Around the infield, it's Justin Turner, Corey Seager, Chase Utley, and Adrian Gonzalez. Yasmani Grandal does the catching for Rich Hill. No unearned runs allowed this postseason for the Dodgers. So Hill pitching in front of a good defense. They were 3rd during the regular season. The Dodgers were in fielding percentage in the National League. Here's Bryant, strike 1.
See, and that's going to be the theme for me to watch. The Cubs hitters cannot miss hittable fastballs, because they're going to see an array of curveballs that's going to make the fastball look even firmer. He has a range, does Hill, of 91 and 74. That's a good gap. That messes with the timing of the hitters.
Bryant so good on the road this year for the Cubs. Fooled there, and the count 0-2. And all strikes so far from Rich Hill. Bryant hit 23 home runs on the road, including that game 3 tying shot in the 9th inning in San Francisco in the division series. Led baseball.
So that left-handed batter's box is where Hill is going to do his magic if he's having a great game. He's going to start that curveball in the left-handed hitter's box and try to backdoor it for strikes. And then with 2 strikes, he's going to try to get it down closer to the right foot of the right-handed hitters. And that's the one the Cubs have to stay off of. That is what Tom Verducci talked about, the nastiness with 2 strikes, because he can spin a ball better than anybody in the game, or at least in the top. And the ability to lay off of that is going to be crucial.
Bryant 2 for 8 in this LCS. 2-2 pitch. Got it right down the middle, and Bryant knew it. 2 out.
why sitting on pitches is difficult to do in the hitter's mind, because that pitch is right down the middle, possibly anticipating the ball to break. And this stayed on plane with the fastball.
So Bryant was caught looking, and now Ben Zobrist, who has been moved to the number 3 spot. Been the cleanup hitter the first 2 games in this postseason behind Rizzo. Now he's in front of Rizzo, ball 1.
Now the challenge for the umpire is going to be, where does he call that strike for the curveball? Is it where it crosses the plate or where the catcher catches it? You saw right there, looked like a pretty good pitch.
That spins in for strike 1.
Even though he caught that one low, that one covered the plate. And so the challenge for any umpire against a curveball like this is it breaks so much. I don't know if you can home tell how much this ball actually breaks. The hitters are going to tell you, though. It's tough.
Well hit into center. Peterson back. Good start, Rich Hill. Picks up where Kershaw left off. Now Arrieta. Bottom of the first, no score. He's still got it. Chase Utley at 37 years old, leading off for the Dodgers. Then it's Corey Seager, Justin Turner, Adrian Gonzalez. The only RBI in game 2. It was enough. Josh Reddick, Jock Peterson, Yasmani Grandal, Andrew Tolles, and Rich Hill. For Dave Roberts, who has put himself in prime position to win Manager of the Year in his first year with the Dodgers. What a job he's done. Off we go. Here's the reigning Cy Young Award winner, Jake Arrieta. Kind of the forgotten guy, and he misses with ball 1 to Chase Utley.
Yeah, definitely the forgotten guy, and you see his numbers still pretty good, and he has more weapons to get you out than Rich Hill. And his curveball, by the way, should not take a back seat to anybody. A very, very deep curveball that attacks the strike zone. See, Rich Hill has a lateral curveball break that breaks from left to right. You're going to see Arrieta's ball break down in the strike zone, start in the strike zone, and hopefully miss some barrels of the bat.
Here's a 1-1 to Utley. That's on the inside part. It's fun to watch Arrieta pitch. He's a tremendous athlete. He is obsessed with Pilates. He's in great physical condition. He's got such good leg drive, and he throws across his body really tough on right-handed batters. Just missed there. The count 2-2. A lot of lefties in that lineup tonight for Dave Roberts because of it.
Well, he has primarily uses his two-seamer. There will be a four-seamer. If he has command issues with the two-seamer, he'll throw the four-seamer. But his changeup, a big swing and miss pitch against left-handers.
So Utley, a guy who's had multiple 30-plus home run seasons. He's got a ring. He won it in 08 with Philly. Beloved in Philadelphia. And a vital part of this Dodger lineup for Dave Roberts and the clubhouse. Right into the defense. 1 out. Baez makes the play, and let's give you a look at the other names who join Javier Baez. It's Zobrist in left again. Dexter Fowler in center. Jorge Soler gets the start in right. Bryant, Russell, Baez, Rizzo. Miguel Montero, the hitting hero in game 1 with a pinch hit grand slam behind the plate. Arrieta likes to throw to Montero, so second time that Joe Madden has selected defense over offense in this LCS. Strike 1 to Seager over the inside corner, and I say that, John, because the reason Jason Hayward even made the start in game 2 against Kershaw was because of his defense. 0-1.
Well, in this case, he did sacrifice a potential better hitter from that position as a catcher, and Hayward's not playing, so having 2 of those guys in the lineup is part of the issue right now for the Cubs. They're not producing enough offense, and they've got to find it.
Hayward's on the bench in this game 3. I would say Arrieta is able to place it where he wants to here in this first inning.
Yeah, and the key for Arrieta as the game goes on is he's going to have a gap where he loses command just a little bit, and in his Cy Young year last year, that gap was very small. This year, the gap has grown. Hitters have been given a little bit more chance when he loses the field for that two-seamer.
2-2 as that missed up. 22-year-old shortstop. He will be a fixture for a long time here in LA. 26 home runs during the regular season. 2-2. That's in the left, a base hit. And with 1 on, 1 out, Justin Turner will be the hitter, and John Smoltz will give you the Lincoln Motor Company keys to the game.
Yeah, I think for the Cubs, don't miss the fastball. And we've talked about the importance of attacking the fastball with the curveball that Rich Hill has. And then for the Dodgers, it's really the same as Lester. Make Arrieta as uncomfortable as possible. Get on and run, or get on and make him have a trickle-down effect to the next hitter. In other words, make him work harder, knowing that you can steal bases against Jake Arrieta.
Arrieta and Lester, 2 guys who have a tough time holding runners close. See what they do with Seager. Here's Turner. Ball 1.
Now that was the first break for the Dodgers. That 2-2 pitch, or the pitch before the 2-2 pitch, looked like it was right down the middle, right? Belt high. And then Jake missed on his two-seamer in location, and Seager took advantage of it and went the other way.
One on, 1 out. Throw down, and a better throw might have had Seager. He was way off the bag. Montero skipped it over to Rizzo. That would have been close with a better throw. Counts 2-0. Turner has owned right-handed pitching in his postseason career. He's jammed here and pops it up. 2 out.
That's the movement. That's how much movement that he has on a 95-mile-an-hour sinker. Now, Jake will even tell you as you watch this two-seamer just bore in right there. See how it just jams Turner. He'll tell you he has lost the feel a little bit for that cutter slider, and his mechanics are not one that are, should we say, the way you would teach it. So he battles from time to time on that feel for that cutter slider. When he has that with the combination of his curveball, that's why he could throw no-hitters like he did. That's why he dominated baseball last year.
And a no-hitter here against the Dodgers August 30th last year. He's thrown 2 as a Cub. Only 4 hitters in the lineup in this game against Arrieta compared to last August. Here's Gonzalez, and what a hitter he's been. The coverage of this game in Spanish, please tune to Fox Deportes. And Adrian Gonzalez became the 6th player in LCS history hitting a home run for the only run in a 1-0 victory, and that came on Sunday. Smart hitter too. 1-0 pitch. Fooled there.
Yeah, I never liked pitching to him, to be honest. I didn't like guys that looked like they were never panicking. They just looked comfortable. They looked like nothing was going to bother them. Velocity doesn't bother him. Obviously, movement bothers most hitters, but he is so patient, has a beautiful swing for a left-handed hitter. It just looks like, no big thing. I'll sit, I'll wait, I'll serve it the other way.
Seager. Another throwdown. And Montero can't get it to first on the fly.
Now, I'll tell you, I would be a little disappointed in my catcher right there. Why I didn't like that play. There's 2 outs, and he just stole a strike. Meaning, as soon as you pull away from the umpire, watch this pitch right here. As soon as you pull away, you lose all opportunity of stealing a strike or getting a strike called. And 2 outs with Seager really not going anywhere. I would have a conversation, say, maybe against a different guy, but I need you to stay in there. Who knows, I might get that call.
Jammed a bit, flies it into right. Soler, a late break, but he's there, and the inning is over. Dodgers get a hit from Seager, strand a man after 1 on a gorgeous night in Southern California. No score. Back to the NLCS on FS1. Tonight's telecast is presented by T-Mobile One. Temperatures are up, obviously not just in Southern California, but across the country. Kind of freaky how warm it is in the Midwest and up east. Home plate umpire tonight is the crew chief, Gary Cederstrom, with Angel Hernandez at first, Alfonso Marquez at second, Ted Barrett at third. Bill Welke was in New York as the replay official for the first 2 games. Now he joins the on-field crew. Paul Nauert switches spots with him. Eric Cooper's in right. Here's Rizzo. Anthony not having any fun. 1 for 23 this postseason. Leans back from ball 1. The 3 through 5 hitters for the Cubs this postseason. Against the Giants, against the Dodgers, 6 for 69 with no home runs. That's got to change. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And what Rizzo in the regular season will say, I'll dare a pitcher that you can't throw 3 of those pitches, because that's the perfect pitch. No way can he hit it. If he hits it, he hits it foul. I will dare you, you can't do that. More importantly, I think you're going to make a mistake over the plate, and that's where I'm going to cash in.
That misses outside. Rich Hill made 2 starts in the division series against the Nationals. He lost game 2 in DC, and then he started game 5. Didn't last long. The bullpen bailed him out. Jansen and Kershaw nailed it down. So his 3rd start of this postseason, 4th of his big league career. The only other one, as we mentioned, with the Cubs back in 07. So he's 0 for 2 in his postseason journey. What a journey it's been. We'll get into that as we go through it. That's foul. Home plate umpire is the crew chief. For more on him, here's Tom Bertucci.
Yeah, that curveball, Joe, tough to hit, tough to call. Gary Cederstrom has been around a long time. He's only worked 1 game behind the plate with Rich Hill, and that was 8 years ago.
Wow. Hill has been everywhere. Their paths have not crossed much. Here's a 2-2. That's foul as Hill hangs in, but jerks it into the seats.
Yeah, that was a pitch you'd like to have back. When you're starting that curveball, sometimes it looks like behind Rizzo, but now he's trying to get that killer one. That one, see how it came out of his hand and kind of floated up? That's the pitch that's going to be hit a long ways if he continues to throw that one with 2 strikes. He should make the adjustment here.
Rizzo waits, fights it off. The bouncing around for Rich Hill and just the different stops, that's one thing. The guy who was a 4th round pick by the Cubs back in 02. In the big leagues, 05 to 08 in Chicago, then Baltimore, Boston, Cleveland, the Angels, the Yankees, Oakland, the Dodgers this year. He's also made major changes to how he pitches along the way. How about that? Foul as Rizzo almost hit one through this wide open left side of the infield.
Well, that was the drop down variety of the curveball. He has slightly 3 different slots. Primarily there you'll see the lower angle, trying to just create a different look for Rizzo, who stays in there better than anybody as a left-hander. A, he's not afraid to get hit. B, has tremendous power with a short compact stroke, even when he's choking up on the barrel, on the handle of the bat.
Another 2-2. Rizzo was willing to let that ball hit him, but it missed his jersey. Full count.
And that would have been an interesting one right there, because that he's so on top of the plate that his arm is over the plate. He moves it in. That would technically been over the plate, and the umpire could have not awarded that.
All right, 3-2 count on the leadoff hitter, Anthony Rizzo. Hill walked him. And a good at bat by Rizzo. And you can hear the reaction of the many Cub fans in attendance here at Dodger Stadium. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it.
That's what that guy was saying.
That's just John Moore, our director, being on it.
Well, here's the move, Joe, that I think has made could make a huge difference for the Cubs. This guy has been their best hitter in the postseason. He's really been amazing, and now moving up in the slot it creates more awareness for the starting pitcher. Russell has been there most of the year and in the postseason and really has struggled. So Joe Maddon has said, we're going to shuffle it up.
It's a sniff of that one, ball one upstairs, and we talked about this in game 2. The one danger, at least according to Joe Maddon, is if I move Javier Baez up, he's hitting great now, he may try to do too much, and that leg kick may get bigger, and he may come out of this great hitting form that he's had. Let's see. Patient here, 2-0.
Great example of how hard it is to track that curveball for a home plate umpire, and I think throughout the night you're going to see a theme. This is the money pitch. That's the back door he's got to have, and that one didn't turn the corner. That one went more down. He has great hand and finger pressure that allows him to spin a breaking ball and have as much lateral movement as you've ever seen. Now on the flip side, that has created some problems with the blisters, which are not on just one finger but 2 fingers, because he uses that as like a rudder to steer the angle and the break of his breaking balls.
There were some who thought the blisters flared up in that game 5 start in Washington. He's got one on his index finger from throwing the fastball, and then a blister on his middle finger from flipping that curve. He's actually dealing with 2. 2-0. Fastball right down the middle, 2-1.
See, for me, that's a good sign, because 2-0, that's where your tendency is to get anxious. And if he didn't like the location, you see that callus forming on his fingers.
Whoa, that almost got away from Gonzalez. Hill almost sailed one down the right field line with that throw. Javier Baez, one on, nobody out. And after a leadoff walk to Rizzo, Baez, who used to really struggle with strikeouts and who's gotten better over the last 2+ years, has been patient. The count in his favor here, 3-1, and watch out.
Short of incredible, this has been one of the greatest transformations in a short time by a young player who is on a historic strikeout rate.
Oh. Unloads on an 89-mile-an-hour belt high pitch, and that's got Javier talking to himself.
Yeah, he can handle that pitch, but what that high fastball now does for Rich Hill is he can throw the 3-2 curveball up, and he might get a different result out of Baez, because the pitch up is the one pitch you're worried, if you're Joe Maddon, that the hitters think about swinging at a heater, but it's too high. Expanding the zone and providing that curveball a lot more depth.
3-2. Popped up. On the infield, a mile high, and it's Utley for the first out. And a good job by Rich Hill to get around that 3-1 count.
Yeah, drop down fastball. Here's what you're going to be seeing throughout the night. Here's the first one in the first inning. Looks like a strike, but goes around the plate. And then you get the second one to Zobrist. A little bit more bite. Looks like it might be down, but it was crossing the plate at the height that the umpire sees it as a strike. So there's the challenge, not only for the hitters, but for the umpire to determine the break of the pitch, the height of it, and whether or not it crossed the plate a strike.
Now it's Jorge Soler who gets the start in right, and that one bounces in. Soler has got a ton of power. 12 home runs, limited at bats. Bothered by a bad hamstring this year. Hit .238, so when he connects, the ball goes a long way. The problem's been the connecting part. There's Jason Hayward, who is a high-dollar free agent brought in on the bench.
So here's the challenge again. If you're a hitter against Rich Hill, you want the ball up, right? You want to see the curveball breaking up and hanging. But if you're looking up, you're going to swing up on the fastball. So sitting on a pitch can be a little bit difficult if you're not disciplined enough to stay off of the high fastball, which we already talked about. The miles per hour difference will beat the barrel of the bat.
That's an inside corner strike. Soler didn't like it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
someone's off the plate, but again, trying to determine when off the plate.
Boy, he's really bothered by Rizzo over there.
I don't know what scouting report he's looking at. Sometimes pitchers just need a little break between pitches, even though the runner has no threat of going. Resets their own computer.
Strike 2 on Soler. As we look ahead in this NLCS, it's John Lackey getting the ball tomorrow, the veteran right-hander, against Julio Urias, the 20-year-old left-hander from Mexico. Lackey's 38. His opposition tomorrow, 20. Game 5 still up in the air for the Dodgers, not for the Cubs. 1-2. Upstairs, 2-2.
In the Washington series, Rich Hill threw a lot of balls with that pitch, and that's part of the reason he struggled a little bit. 25 called pitches that were balls, and right now struggling just a little bit with the command of it.
Soler. Still 2-2. The big piece of this Cub organization that's not able to play, and that's been the case since the first week of the season. That's Kyle Schwarber. Big power source, going to be a terrific big leaguer, it seems. What is going on with Rizzo at first base? I mean, he's not going anywhere. And that's twice now that Rich Hill's almost thrown it down the line, and Adrian Gonzalez is walking in. Like, what are you doing?
I'm not on Twitter. Maybe Rizzo tweeted he's going to steal a bag tomorrow, meaning tonight. I don't know why you're paying so much attention to him over there, but I'm sure Rich Hill has his reasons. Gonzalez may have just talked him out of it.
Yeah, Gonzalez, while we were showing the replays, walked in, put his arm around Rich Hill and said, worry about Soler. Two balls, 2 strikes. And there he goes. Pitch down and in, and why not? You have got to be kidding me. And I don't think there's any doubt, John, that all those throws over got it in the head of Rizzo that when I know he's not coming over here now, I'm just going to go.
Yeah, I think it was a calculated gamble by Rizzo. It's like he's thrown a couple too many over here, and now I can get myself a much bigger lead. I think that's exactly what happened. And
so all the attention, and it still didn't work. Runner at second, 1 out, and Soler fouls it out of play.
Now, the one thing about Soler and his power, a longer swing, the timing, hasn't gotten many at bats, hasn't been in a rhythm like some of the other hitters, but at the same time, neither has the Cubs lineup. They've been really struggling, so maybe 1 at bat or 2 at bats they can get lightning in a bottle here.
That's inside, second walk of the inning. By the way, Rizzo stole 3 bases during the regular season, no attempts this postseason. And hey, however it's got to happen for the Cubs, and specifically Anthony Rizzo, he's trying to get involved, and I think Rich Hill forced that. That's the first stolen base for Rizzo since the 29th of July against Seattle.
Well, you know he was excited to be on base, but maybe not that excited. Here's a guy that has to get going, of course, for the Cubs. He's delivered most during the year in that 5 spot, driven in over 90 runs, and did fairly well with runners in scoring position. But that has been a theme. The Cubs have struggled. Some great pitching. I get it.
Rich Hill is really just out of sorts right now. He's walked 2, and he just doesn't seem comfortable.
Yeah, you know, aside from the curveballs floating a little bit and the fact that that is his money pitch, you know, maybe again, sometimes you're searching, you're talking to yourself, you're trying to make in-game adjustments with your release point.
Russell. Ball 1.
Pace has certainly slowed down considerably here in the second inning. And this is what postseason does, man. It really makes you grind and treat each batter, each situation like your last.
Pretty good swing there by Russell, but he fouls it back. Strike 1. You said it. I mean, this is a shortstop, a young guy, Addison Russell, who drove home 95 runs. It's tremendous production. These guys were getting on base in front of him a lot, obviously, with the year that Bryant had, Rizzo had, but he delivered. One of the big reasons why the Cubs are this far. That's a good one from Hill. Strike 2.
Well, that's the pitch that he has really struggled against left-handers. Has not gotten a hit all year on that pitch when he puts it in play or swings and misses. And that high loop and late break. Let's see if the adjustment with 2 strikes out of Hill comes here against Russell.
That gets away. The runners will advance on a pitch that was almost a strike. That'll go down as a pass ball as Grandal checks his glove.
And it certainly looked live to me like it was a cross-up, because if you're expecting a curveball, I mean, it looked like that. I don't know if it actually was, but if you're expecting a curveball, you're going to have a hard time reacting to a fastball. He could have missed it. Looking at it now again, certainly didn't dart out of the way. So nonetheless, run scoring opportunity for the Cubs.
The ball hasn't left the infield. Second and third, 1 out. Russell trying to come up with his biggest hit. Struck him out. 2 down.
Mentioned he really does struggle with breaking balls out of left-handers, and this was a good one. That one didn't have the hump. That one had the late downward plane, and now there's no bargain here with a base open, because Arrieta's on deck and he can hit, as proven that 3-run homer off Bumgarner.
Yeah, typically you see first base open, pitcher on deck, postseason game, put him on. Not with Arrieta, who waits to hit next. Second and third, 2 out. Montero, the hero from game 1, takes the strike. Pinch hit grand slam in that thrilling 8th inning for the Cubs in game 1. This is Utley to his right. Got him, and the inning is over. After all that, 2 walks, a stolen base, a passed ball. Cubs still scoreless. Is sponsored by T-Mobile One. Welcome to Unlimited Baseball. And by the Lincoln Motor Company. Got those seats. Up on the hill, looking in. First up, Reddick takes the ball. That's out way beyond the left field wall. Here in Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium, the count 2-0. Reddick, then Peterson, then Grandal.
Reddick, good numbers you see right there against Arrieta. One of the few in the lineup that can boast that.
After a long top of this inning, Arrieta's come out and missed with the first three.
Yeah, and that can happen. You know, typically when you have that kind of delay, you're walking out with a lead. Your team has responded with some runs, but early on, that inning took a long time, but no runs across the board.
3-1. Former Oakland Athletic, Boston Red Sox outfielder, grounds foul, full count.
See right there, 3-1 pitch. In the regular season, you might challenge a guy. In the postseason, you're not going to take anything for granted. He goes with the slider 3-1. Of course, he knows that this guy has had some success. So.
Chased one there. Nasty stuff from Arrieta. It's one of the reasons why Jake had 16 wild pitches during the regular season. His stuff just moves so much.
Yeah, that last one was virtually unhittable. See, and the break varies from time to time, and that is a byproduct of his mechanics. He throws so far across his body that allows him to spin and break a ball, but consistency issues.
So far this postseason, the Dodgers are 4-1 when the opposition starts a right-hander. Another 3-2. In the air to right center field. Back is Soler. And it's Fowler with Soler on his back. And I don't think Fowler's too thrilled with that. And Soler and Fowler lucky that one of the two made the catch. You could see Fowler calling for it, and Soler never peeled away.
Yeah, a little bit of rust and a little bit of the outfield crowd probably yelling right there. And center fielder always is the captain. They're both yelling. They're both saying it. Lucky that nothing bad happened right there in the leadoff hitter.
So Arrieta bounces back from a 3-0 count to get Josh Reddick and now Jock Peterson. It was 5 for 15 against right-handed pitching during the postseason. Takes a strike. 1 for 7 in this series. Has a home run this postseason. It was big. Tied the game in the 7th off Max Scherzer in Game 5 of that division series. And the Dodgers went on to win it straight 2.
You see by the evidence of those first 2 pitches, Jock Peterson has never seen a fastball he doesn't like. Tongue-in-cheek a little bit. 4-seam variety. He's hit 11 home runs, but he really likes the 2-seamer for his average and his swing path. The breaking ball, however, as you can imagine, a good one right there, gives anyone a tough time.
Oh, 0-2 pitch. Straightens him up with ball 1. Two out.
There's that big swing.
First strikeout for Arrieta.
Number 9.
The MLB postseason continues tomorrow. Game 5 of the ALCS. between the Indians and the Blue Jays at 4 Eastern on TBS. The Blue Jays won today. That series 3-1. Then later on FS1 Game 4 of the NLCS, Cubs and Dodgers, Lackey and Urias, the vet and the rook. 7:30 Eastern only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Here's Grandal, strike 1. Strike 2.
From the left side, he pretty much sells out and loves the power side. Majority of his home runs have been from that side, but he's 0 for his last 15 in postseason. You're going to see a lot of those themes when you run into the likes of Cy Young candidates and award winners.
Well, last year was ridiculous for Arrieta. 22-6 with an ERA of 1.77, then went 2-1 in the postseason. His loss coming in that sweep by the Mets in the NLCS. That got him on the inside corner. Grandal gave up on it. And back-to-back strikeouts for Arrieta. 3rd inning rolls in. Fowler bouncing into Soler. No harm, no foul, still friends, no score after 2. Here we go. 3rd inning, no score. Rich Hill back to work. First up, Jake Arrieta. He can hit. So can the guy we're about to talk to, and that's Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw live from the corner of the dugout. How are you tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are we feeling after Sunday night?
Feeling good. Yeah, all good.
So you come out of that, and I believe Dave Roberts. First of all, he's a very believable guy, but I believe him when he says we'll see when Clayton pitches next, depending on how the next 2 games go. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. You know, I'm just in the playoffs. You just kind of wait and see how the games go. So I understand that, and I'm ready for it. Whatever game they pick.
There's a strike into Jake Arrieta. The count 1 ball, 2 strikes. always been enamored with your curveball, and obviously tonight, Clayton, we're talking a lot about the curveball of Rich Hill. He can really spin it, can't he?
Yeah, he's a spin rate guy. That's what we talk about nowadays. He's both pitches, fastball and curveball. There it is right there. It's pretty impressive.
And strikeout number 3 for Rich Hill.
Clayton, I'm always enamored, and it was fun for me in a postseason when you've already completed one start and then you're getting ready for another one, success or not. How do you view when you're facing the same team multiple times in the series? What's your outlook? What's your game plan? Because as far as I could tell, I know you showed a couple frustration. I thought you made 1 or 2 mistakes at all those pitches, which is incredible in itself. How do you treat an in-game series when you're facing them twice?
Yeah, you know, I think that's you just try not to overthink it.
Here's one into right center field, slicing to the right fielder, Reddick, 2 out.
Oh boy.
By the way, you're getting your wish on a potentially quick inning, but go ahead and answer John's question.
Yeah, that's good. We needed Rich to have a quick inning right here, get his pitch count back in order. But yeah, you know, I think just try not to overthink it too much. You know, you face them once and feel like, oh, I did it this way one time, so I got to change it up the next time because they can expect it. And I think it's just kind of executing pitches. Try to, you know, not worry too much about the game plan or the scouting report, and just try to outcompete them at the end of the day, because, you know, there's no secrets anymore, you know, with all the information and stuff anyway. So
here is Chris Bryant. There is strike 1 as a fastball is in from Rich Hill. Bryant struck out his first time.
And then my last question is, how do you approach the game before you're starting? Can you relax, enjoy the game? Are you thinking about the next game? As when you're not involved, what is it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, pretty relaxed. You know, obviously, if Rich or Julio or you know, we had a lot of lefties this year, so I like to go in the tunnel sometimes and just watch guys at bats where they stand in the box against lefties. You know, it always helps to see them the day before, because, you know, a lot of things can even change from hitters from week to week, month to month. So you know, more than anything, just relax, trying to be a cheerleader. But, you know, every once in a while it's fun to watch in the tunnel and just kind of see how they look in the box.
How do you think the kid will do tomorrow, Julio Urias?
I think he'll do great. You know, Julio's, you know, it's amazing that he's 20. Just everything that he's been through, what he's done. And it's not a question of stuff. And I don't really think it's going to be a question of nerves either. You know, just try to keep his pitch count down. Those guys can really work the count. So just try to keep his pitch count down, throw enough strikes to keep him in the game long enough to make a difference.
So we may see Clayton Kershaw in 2 nights, or we may see him back in Chicago if the series gets there. Clayton, thanks for the time.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
3-time Cy Young Award winner, MVP, and the star of game number 2 on Sunday night at Wrigley. Crowd into it with a 2-2 count. Bryant, full count.
Even though it hasn't been super pretty for Rich Hill, he still is messing with the timing of the Cubs hitters, and hitting is contagious, and so is that timing.
Just got a piece.
When these Cubs and this offense were at their best, they were absolutely hammering mistakes in rhythm, feeling good about the 162 game series and schedule. But now when you get in a series, you individually have to make it work for you, and that timing right now for the Cubs is just not in unison.
That is up the middle, a base hit. Seager was around playing Bryant to pull, and Bryant on with a base hit, his 3rd of this series.
Well, in the 2nd inning, this is what he saw, or the Cubs saw, a variety of them. 20 curveballs in the 2nd inning. You can see the spots on where they were and where they ended up. And in this one, Bryant does a nice job taking the barrel through the zone, staying on top, and being rewarded for hitting it somewhat up the middle.
That's PitchCast, powered by MLB Advanced Media. Here's Zobrist. Hit the ball hard, fly to center his first time. He's 1 for 7 in this series. Zobrist 1 for 7. Rizzo 0 for 8. Hitless is Soler. Hitless is Addison Russell 0 for 8. Should end the inning. Oh, Utley almost waited too long to get his foot on the bag. Bryant was hustling, and Bryant knows that was closer than it probably should have been. Bottom of the 3rd inning. This place is loud, electric, scoreless after 2.5. Sun is setting in the west. And that is a live look. Pretty as that. Bottom of the third inning. Good game. No score. Bottom two in the lineup. And that means Andrew Toles first up. He's had a nice postseason. Started this year at single-A ball. Fights it off. Gets a base hit. And the Dodgers have put their leadoff man on for the first time tonight.
And the right guy to put on with speed. The strategy here will be interesting. Do you let him try to steal second and then have Rich Hill bunt him over to third? We talked about Arrieta, slow delivery to home. Toles, a lot of speed, loves the fastball. It's a perfect scenario for Dave Roberts if he wants to try that first, because the Cubs are very aggressive in their bunt defense against pitchers.
Also, way in, that's Baez to the right as you look at it of Arrieta. Runner goes. They let him swing. Out at first and Toles at second. So I know what you're going to say. That trade, the Cubs will take that trade.
Man, if you could have a timeout, that's where you'd scream timeout. Don't swing, because the jump was so big he would have been at second base. This is the slash play that they teach you as a pitcher when they're crowding you. But let it go. Easier said than done. The Cubs will take that for sure, because Toles had second base really easy.
So runner at second with one out. And Chase Utley digging in.
See, the problem with that is, you know, that's had to have been the conversation they had with the Dodger hitters. But he's the pitcher. I don't know if they may have had that conversation with him, knowing that they were going to try and steal.
Breaking ball is down. Chase Utley in his postseason career has an on-base percentage of .417 against right-handed pitching. He did a lot of that damage as a younger man. He has not reached in 14 plate appearances against Arrieta. Could put the Dodgers on top here in the third. Two and 0.
Well, the top of the order has not done their job for the Dodgers. They certainly have not created enough traffic. The 1 and 2 spots are combined only a 123 average.
7 for 57 coming in now. 8 for 59 with a hit by Seager back in the first. Here's a 2-0. Two and 1.
And the way he caught that's probably going to confuse Dave Roberts. Watch the slider right here. Doesn't turn the corner, kind of stays right there. See the last minute sneaking through the box.
Popped him up. Bryant will take care of out number 2.
I'm telling you, that whole situation changes. The whole thing does. Hill's going to bunt him over to third. Utley's approach is going to be much different, but nonetheless, the game comes a little faster, and Hill was doing his job, what he's taught, when the fielders crowd him, and he slashed.
Well, here's Seager. Singled his first time up, now 2 for 8 in this LCS.
Here's the huge jump. I mean, he's got it. And then the last minute slash right there. Russell running over to third just in case.
Looked like Dave Roberts was a little frustrated with that. That shot of him in the corner of the dugout right after. Here's Seager. Strike one. Good pitch by Arrieta. Tied him up.
Seager crushed right-handers, but this is not your normal right-hander, Jake Arrieta. On the year, Seager did his damage. Didn't matter pretty much what pitch. He had a home run on every pitch thrown from a right-hander.
One ball, one strike.
You know, I'd have a rule. with my catcher, now he's checking right now. I would have a rule immediately. I don't care, but check, ask every time. You never know. That would be my rule. I think Joe Madden was thinking the pitch was more of a strike than necessarily a check swing.
Yeah. Looked like a strike. Called a ball. Corey Seager is 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position this postseason. Into right. Here comes Toles. The throw by Soler. Dodgers lead down to second. Seager safe with an RBI.
Well, Soler's got to know who's running. There's 2 outs. He's going on the bat. You cannot come up firing and missing the cutoff and creating another scoring opportunity. No chance. And now they have another runner to the Dodgers at second. Toles their fastest runner. There's not going to be a play at the plate. You've got to at least make the throw down. Those are the little things that'll drive a manager crazy at this time of the year.
Now it's Justin Turner, who popped up his first time. Strike one. That is the first hit with a runner in scoring position in this series since Miguel Montero's grand slam in the 8th inning of Game 1, and it belongs to that man, the 22-year-old shortstop, Corey Seager. That stat for both teams combined. Here's the 0-1.
What's interesting watching him, you wouldn't know if he was 15 for his last 15 or 0 for his last 15. Pretty much calm demeanor. And it just seemed to me a little bit, and this happens, you get in between, and he just was in between, whether guessing, looking for pitches, not letting the barrel of the bat go, and that's got to be a good feeling.
Late swing by Turner. Strike 2.
Hitting has got to be a lot like pitching. If you're not committed on a pitch, bad things are going to happen. And if you're not committed at the plate, good things won't happen. And sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the pitcher who makes a better pitch than you were ready for or capable to hit. But you got to be ready.
Turner did well to lay off. 2-2. So the Dodgers strike first here in Game 3.
Now, a different story here if Turner were to get a base hit, even though with 2 outs, Seager does not have the same speed, so you can be more aggressive if the ball happens to go to right field. Left fielder's going to be deep as Fowler's going to be deep. Montero wants to be absolutely sure here on a 2-2 count.
Just so you have the information of the last 10 NLCSs that were tied 1-1 after 2 games. The winner of Game 3 has won 8 of 10. So the pivotal Game 3. Rich Hill and Jake Arrieta. The Dodgers lead by 1. The 2-2. Well, there's Toles. Our former colleague Gabe Kapler. We heard the report from Kenny Rosenthal a couple of nights ago. Talked about how Gabe was in this young man's corner to get him signed by the Dodgers starting the year at Single-A. Was out of the game working at a Kroger, and here he is getting on to start this inning and scoring the first run, and the only run through 3. Third strikeout for Jake Arrieta, but it's the young man Corey Seager who delivers for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts, LA team up 1-0 after 3 in Game 3. Angeles, home of the Dodgers, home of traffic. You can see on the freeway in that shot. The left side of the infield not as open as it has been, but they are certainly playing Anthony Rizzo to pull. Seager is in enough to take the bunt away from Rizzo at this point. Leans back from ball 2. Anthony's drew a walk, his first time, and stole a base.
Some good takes, and those are not to be taken for granted. That's how you start getting locked in again. If he's going to get some hits, that's what Joe Maddon wanted to see. Don't expand the strike zone.
That's high, 3-0, and for Rizzo with that steal, he had none against left-handed pitchers this season.
I'll tell you what, the game you play here, if he was locked in, 3-0 is an automatic, but I still let him go 3-0, anticipating a fastball, seeing if he can tie it up with one swing.
Inside corner, 3-1. He hit 32 home runs during the regular season, does not have an RBI this postseason, and he is tired of that statistic hanging around his neck. Leading it off here in the 4th, 1-0 Dodgers. Full count.
He has so much confidence in that breaking ball, does Rich Hill, to throw it at any count. I mean, he's not afraid to work behind in the count with the curveball. He started off the first 12 hitters, 10 of them via the fastball, 2 with the curveball.
Drops down, and Rizzo hits it in the air to right. Easy for Reddick. 1 out. And a good job by Rich Hill to come back from a 3-0 count. And Rizzo's 0 for 9. This week, start your Sunday with Fox NFL Kickoff and America's #1 pregame show. Then Sam Bradford and the NFC North leading Vikings. Battle rookie sensation Carson Wentz and the Eagles or other regional action. Coverage begins this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox. It's a good early matchup. Here is Baez, who has jumped up into the number 5 spot for Joe Maddon. Popped up with a runner at second his first time up. Takes a strike.
Rich Hill's not happy with something. Just watching his mannerisms as he's been pacing around the mound, and that one was a strike, something he didn't like.
And he and Grandal can't get together on what to throw.
Well, this is a pretty good fastball. Well, watch how he reacts. And note, ladies and gentlemen, he did not kick a field goal right there, but that's what happens on his follow through sometimes. He gets really down through that front leg.
Baez with a big swing and a pop up. Turner in foul ground. 2 out. And so far, John, through 3 2/3, it's the same thing for this Cubs lineup.
Yeah, and they're not facing a prototypical Rich Hill. He's not completely on his game, but right there, the rare changeup. You see the numbers right now for a frustrated lineup, but a rare changeup. Got Baez out in front, popped it up.
2 out, nobody on. Soler takes a ball. That statistic that was just flashed in front of Joe Maddon, that's across the postseason. So teams have combined to hit under 220 across baseball this postseason compared to 255 regular year. Breaking ball for a strike.
And again, look, the series takes a dramatic turn in the first series with that rally, and who knows what happens in game 5, but some unbelievably great pitched games by the Cubs starters have gotten them to this point.
Well, the Cubs have had the ability to score a little bit early and then the rally and some runs late, especially against the Giants. But the 3rd through the 7th inning, the Cubs this postseason hitting 126, 13 of 103 coming into tonight. So Soler gets the start. He walked his first time, and He has a 2-2 count here.
But I don't blame Joe Madden at all. I think he had to do this. He's got to find ways to create something in his lineup. They've got some tough matchups for their lefties. Of course, Clayton Kershaw is a tough matchup for anybody in the United States.
The 2-2. Oh, everybody thought strike 3 except for Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire. Even Grandal popped up and was starting to walk away.
Wow. Maybe just a little bit outside, but it sure looked good live. He changed his arm angle and went down, and that one went around the plate. And we talked about the challenge of calling those pitches.
Soler lives to see another pitch and strikes out anyway. What a job tonight by the 36-year-old left-hander Rich Hill. 4 scoreless, 4 strikeouts, and a 1-run lead after 3.5. First pitch hacking is Adrian Gonzalez, and he got one to hit, fouled it back, strike 1. Gonzalez, then Josh Reddick, then Jock Peterson for the Dodgers, who lead by 1, playing in the 4th. 3 hits for LA, 1 hit for Chicago. Gonzalez flying to right his first time. The RBI belongs to Corey Seager. Cashed in with a 2-out RBI hit last inning to score Andrew Tolles. 2-1.
This ballpark much different in the gaps than Wrigley Field, with the home run that he hit on a sinker away doesn't go out in this ballpark, but for Gonzalez, who likes hitting at Wrigley Field, glad it wasn't at this ballpark. He can pull the ball in with power.
That is hit on a rope to Soler for out number 1.
As evident of that right there, just a little too much topspin. But that ball comes in just a little bit more, and maybe his swing path gets more of a fly ball, but see his swing to the ball, it's pretty as could be. Hit it too good. As good as it gets right there. That's how you teach.
Soler in to grab it. Now it's Reddick. 93, strike 1. Reddick fly to center. Now 4 for 10 in his career against Jake Arrieta. Does have a home run, as we told you, but that happened back in 2012. This is off Arrieta. Baez can't make the barehanded play. 1 on, 1 out.
Yeah, he would have never got him. Baez, as good as he is, you can imagine the amount of spin after it hits the glove. Reddick gets down the line really good as a left-handed hitter. But after this ball goes up in the air, it gave him enough time for Reddick to put him in position to beat out this play either way. This is the only play, barehand ball, and you see it going down a little bit more than he anticipated.
Well, now Chris Bryant is going to shift to the other side of the field against a left-handed hitting Jock Peterson. Third baseline wide open, 1 on, 1 out.
And Peterson has shown the ability during the year and once already through this series that he will square around if you give him an opportunity and lay a bunt down. Obviously known for his power and sit back on that back leg and just he's just not afraid to swing hard.
In case you're wondering, Reddick, 3 stolen bases during the regular season, was 3 for 6.
Both Gonzalez now and Peterson waving at something that's hovering over home plate. Must be some kind of bug or something.
It's a midge. We're in the wrong part of the country for that. 1 on, 1 out. Inside, ball 1. Peterson struck out his first time. Check on Reddick. This can be a really left-handed heavy lineup for the Dodgers. It is tonight for Dave Roberts. And it's why they've been so good against right-handed starters here. 9-1. Last 10 here at home when they faced a right-handed starting pitcher. One loss was to Johnny Cueto. 3rd week of September. But it's why Lester matches up well against the Dodgers. It's why the Dodgers have their best chance against the righties of the Cubs. 1-1 runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw down. Not in time.
And they just have to do it. And in that at bat, he finally got the jump that he wanted in first movement. Jake takes too long to get to home plate. It affects his pitches if he goes to a slide step. And you see Reddick head down, doesn't even look in. The only question now will be if he popped up at any point. Baez didn't keep the tag long enough right here. He makes the swipe, then it comes off just a hair right about there. That might have been the difference as he slid through.
Well, Arrieta's looking in to see if the Cubs want to challenge it. We've seen him multiple times this year.
See right there, separation if he'd have kept it on, but the glove comes off the body. Sliding head first, tough to stop. Right about there would have been an out, but he slid away from that the tag.
Runner at second, now 1 out. A 1-2 count on Peterson, struck him out. Strikeout number 4, second time Jock has gone down. 2 out.
See, for Jock Peterson, as he matures as a baseball player, and he has this unique relationship with his manager. They talk sometimes 3 times a day, but learning to create or shut down the holes that he has for a pitcher to get him out right now is a little bit too many of them. That one tied him up.
Here's Grandal, runner at second, 2 out. Yasmani. That is out of play. You can see the big swing. Switch hitting catcher. He's got power. Hit 27 home runs during the regular season, but he is now 2 for 20 this postseason, hitless in this NLCS.
Yeah, and he did most of that damage power-wise from the left-hand side.
Loves hitting here at Dodger Stadium. The 0-1. Good pitch. Breaking down and in, and Grandal now in the hole 0-2.
That's that curveball, and he's got a power curveball that really disappears. You see the break right there, and the hand on the top of the ball, and just the last bit of it spinning hard down.
Runner going on a ball in the dirt. Not insignificant. Over there with 2 out. 1-2 now on Grandal.
Yeah, and the reason that's not a bad move, but besides you can do it when you want, is now that puts a lot of pressure. You mentioned the wild pitches that Arrieta throws, so with 2 outs, 16 times he's gotten the ball by the catcher via the wild pitch. Reddick can take a huge lead because Bryant is going to be playing so far off the bag with the shift.
2-2. Reddick reached on the infield hit. Stole second, stole third.
I mean, it sets up for a curveball. It's a matter of being able to trust that you're not going to bounce it too far.
2-2. That is foul.
Through the curveball and just out in front. That pitch has got to be down just a little bit more. Trusting your catcher, you can bounce it over that back foot. There's the pitch, but too much hang time. The change of speed kept him from staying back with his hands.
Just missed inside, a full count. Cubs players started to walk back toward the dugout. That ball was in. Not by much. It stays full. This front office for the Dodgers went out and got the additions they needed to fortify this team. They spent 2 months without Clayton Kershaw, out with a herniated disc in his back, and they went from 8 games behind San Francisco, won the division by 4. Reddick and the starter tonight, Rich Hill, came in the same deal from the A's. 3-2. High drive, right center, at the wall, gone. Los Angeles on top in the 4th. Now Tolles.
Well, you wonder how much the pressure of getting to third base affected the pitch selection of throwing that curveball and trusting you could bounce it. There was a low sinker that he absolutely got the barrel of the bat to and deposited over the fence. It's the little things that can make the difference. And he was beating him up, and see how the pitch went down, and the catcher knows it right away, and I'm sure Jake knows it. So just the little things of putting pressure. As we talk with Dave Roberts, you have to do this against the great staff of the Cubs because they just limit how many times you get on base, period. So once you get on base, make the most of it.
Counts 2-0 on Tolles. Fastball by his bat. Also the pressure on a good starter like Arrieta with his lineup not hitting at all. And that's continued now, except for that 8th inning in game 1. The Cubs can't string any hits together. 3-1 on Tolles. That man has shut down Chicago's offense tonight so far. That's dropping in a hurry, but caught by Zobrist to end the inning. But with one swing, the lead has gone from 1 to 3 on a home run by number 9, Yasmani Grandal. Behind Rich Hill, the home team leads 3-0. Back to the NLCS on FS1. Tonight's telecast is presented by T-Mobile One. For the Cubs, the last 2 games, 3 for the last 30, or rather 42 at bats, 13 consecutive scoreless innings against Dodger pitching. Now the big part of that, a combination of Kershaw and Jansen. Tonight though, Rich Hill, Addison Russell first up, struck out his first time, and it's 0-2 as Hill drops down sidearm. Russell struck out with 2 on and 1 out back in the second. Serves this one into right. 1 out as Reddick backpedals and takes care of it. Number 8 hitter Miguel Montero coming up.
Well, that's part of the lineup you definitely want if you're a pitcher. 7, 8, 9. It's not a free inning, but it feels better to have the pitcher in a situation where you can wiggle in and out of trouble.
Strike 1 on Montero. Rich Hill turning in his best postseason start. Only the 4th career postseason start as he ties up Montero. No swing. 1 ball, 1 strike as Ted Barrett says it's ball 1, not strike 2.
Well, this is the part of the game as we watch here. The barrel of the bat. Stay behind. Close. This is the part of the game after establishing so many curveballs. His fastball gets better from the 4th, the 5th, the 6th.
Broken bat. Utley 2 out. Game summary is sponsored by Michelob Ultra. There's a home run in the background, and that's the biggest swing of the night. A 2-run shot in the bottom of the 4th. Rookie shortstop Corey Seager has an RBI. And the heart of the order, even with the change in that order for the Cubs, hitless tonight. And inside Murphy's bleachers in Chicago, right across from Wrigley Field. Not a happy moment when Grandal went deep a moment ago. Strike 1 on Arrieta.
Yeah, those are 2-out RBIs are so big anyways, but 2 of them, 2 times now they've gotten 2 big hits with 2 outs and an early 3-0 lead.
Good curveball for strike 2.
Whatever was making him feel a little uncomfortable earlier, Rich Hill, that second inning, did not look comfortable at all. Since then, he's made the necessary adjustments, and he has thrown a lot more strikes, and you can see that drop down. He's not afraid to drop down that slider or curveball.
Arrieta just got a piece. Jake with 5 career home runs, including game 3 of the division series in San Francisco against Bumgarner. Rich Hill dominant through 5. He'll lead it off in the bottom of the inning with the Dodgers leading by 3. Beautiful scene at the home of the Dodgers since 1962. Dodger Stadium, strike one into Rich Hill. What a job number 44 is doing tonight for the Dodgers. Out pitching Jake Arrieta, the reigning Cy Young Award winner. Trying to bunt his way on. That's not going to work. One down. Ken Rosenthal, it has been some wild and crazy trip for Rich Hill to this night tonight.
It has been, Joe, and he is a real study in perseverance. Setbacks in his career, Tommy John surgery, shoulder surgery, tragedy in his life, the loss of an infant son. And then last season, after more than 6 years as a reliever, he decided that he wanted to start again. Asked for his release from the Nationals, signed with the independent Long Island Ducks, and then signed with the Red Sox on a minor league deal. And he believes he only got back to the majors because Stephen Wright suffered a concussion. And there's one other twist in this. The guy who saw him throw for the Red Sox was a guy named Jared Porter. He was their pro scouting director at the time. He now is with the Cubs.
He's also reinvented as Utley skies one into center, the way he delivers the ball. Former sidearm slinger, now over the top. Dexter Fowler easily hauls that one in. 2 down here in the 5th. Chicago in the 6th inning will have the top of their lineup against Rich Hill. If there are any hiccups against Hill, right now the Dodgers are playing with house money because they love going to their bullpen, but they haven't had to. Hill's been that good, allowing just 1 2-out single. Pitched around 2 walks in the 2nd. Otherwise, dominant. Seager's had a nice night. 2 for 2 with a pair of singles and an RBI. And all 3 of the runs tonight for the Dodgers have come with 2 out.
And here's what happened. Location, location, location. Here's the first one, supposed to be in. He goes with it. Second one, same thing. Watch where it's supposed to be. Spins over the middle of the plate. 2 for 2.
2-1 is the count. For what he's done, go ahead RBIs. He's got 4 this postseason. Big swing there. 2-2. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Cubs have gone in order 1, 2, 3 in 10 of their last 14 innings. So they're not stretching anybody out either. As Rob Z, as they call him.
As they should.
Zastryzny is getting loose. Number 29, the left-hander added to the roster for this round for Chicago. Full count. Three-two pitch. Got him on a pitch down and in. Strikeout number 5 for Arrieta. 5 innings in the books in Los Angeles. 3-0 Dodgers.
Maniacs like to do first.
Sixth inning of a 3-run game. 3-0 Los Angeles, top of the order for the Cubs, and a breaking ball goes around the zone. Ball 1.
Well, they got to get it going, and this is the guy that can get it going, although only 4 times out of 14 opportunities leading off an inning as he reached base.
That is Turner in to guard against the bunt. 1 away. With the bases empty, Chris Bryant will be the hitter. Tonight's telecast sponsored by Coors Banquet. That's how it's done. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Well, here at Dodger Stadium, the story is Rich Hill. Really, this battery in general with Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. That's a strike. Grandal with a 2-run shot, and Hill has limited the Cubs to 1 hit. And it belongs to the man at the plate.
Well, whether you like it or not, the style of baseball in a 3-0 game in the 6th inning would traditionally not have anybody in the bullpen warming up. But that's exactly what Dave Roberts has, and that's exactly what you're going to see. How many outs can he steal for Dave Roberts before he turns it to the bullpen?
That's into the gap in left center field, cut off by Tolles, and Bryant 2 for 3. The in-game box score brought to you by T-Mobile One. And for the Cubs, it's Bryant and nothing else. Although a good job by Hill to pitch around a leadoff walk, a stolen base, another walk, and a pass ball in the 2nd. But really no threats tonight as Zobrist walks in. Zobrist 0 for 2. Makes a fastball for a strike. World champion last year with Kansas City. In that important 3 spot in the lineup for Chicago. And pops it up. Grandal. 2 out. I hate to keep throwing out all these negative numbers, but it's becoming the big story for Chicago, a team that scored a ton of runs during the regular season, 3rd most in baseball. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters 0 for their last 17 for Joe Madden.
Yeah, I mean, the timing's not good. We're early in this series, and really, again, as we talked about, Joe, the beginning of the series was going to be the philosophy difference between 2 teams. The Dodgers, you feel like, are trying, are moments away from stealing any game they can, and that's going to be via the bullpen unless Clayton Kershaw's pitching. And the Cubs are going to have to rely on their formula, but somehow something's got to get going in their offense. Something's got to click. One big hit like they got in San Francisco to just get them going for, if nothing else, just a couple innings.
Here's Rizzo. Ball 1. In that 9th inning in San Francisco, Zobrist got a big hit. Wilson Contreras had the game-tying hit. And the guy on deck, Javier Baez, had the go-ahead and series-clinching RBI. A 6-5 win, 4-run 9th. Rizzo able to lay off that pitch that floats outside. 2-0.
Well, more than likely, as you see again, the low angle curveball that sweeps across the plate. I would think tonight would be a possible 2-inning Jansen appearance again, just trying to get that scenario that gives you Clayton Kershaw 2 more times if you want it.
A 2-0 fastball, and Rizzo took it for strike 1.
So in this game for Dave Roberts and for Rick Honeycutt, they've got everything that they could possibly have wanted so far. It's hard to imagine 5 innings is what you want, but today in their formula, it's what they needed.
That's high, ball 3, and if Baez bats in this 6th inning, he will represent the tying run.
Blanton's up there as well. Blanton, of course, faced Baez in that 8th inning. Got him to pop up before the rest of the inning didn't go quite as planned.
Rizzo has seen 19 pitches, 13 curveballs, 6 fastballs, and a check on Bryant, who has a 2-step lead. A 1-out hit by Bryant, over at first with 2 down. Good curveball behind in the count. 3-2.
He's comfortable with it. Now in these scenarios here, he's been dropping down and, believe it or not, throwing strikes from that point at 3-2 count. See if he does that to Rizzo.
Rizzo expecting curveball. Struck him out. Biggest start of his career in Rich Hill has answered the call. He struck out 6. He's walked 2. No runs on 2 hits. Leads by 3. Part of the order for the Dodgers. This is Turner into center. Back at the wall. It is gone. 4-0 Dodgers. That'll be it for Jake Arrieta. The leadoff home run by Justin Turner. First RBI of this series, second home run of this postseason. And the guy who hit 27 during the regular year has extended the lead to 4 and knocked out Jake Arrieta. Was added to the active roster for this round of the playoffs because of all the left-handed bats for the Dodgers. Well, how about this? They announced Zastryzny even here on the PA system, and it's Travis Wood. How about that? So it's Wood, not Zastryzny. They go to the veteran. Zastryzny was up. Wood was tucked over the side of the bullpen. You can't see from the press box, and instead of Zastryzny, it's Wood. And the count's gone to 1 ball, 1 strike. Little switcheroo.
Well, nonetheless, the left-handers for the Cubs in this series are going to play big if they're going to have success because of the heavy left-handed hitting lineup that the Dodgers have.
There was action for the Dodgers in their bullpen. And I don't know that this crowd is aware that it's Wood, not Zastryzny, the veteran left-hander who came up with the Reds, now with the Cubs, former starter, now a reliever, gets it by Gonzalez's bat. 2-2.
Those lefties are all the same.
All the same. They're all a little bit off in a good way. Now a beach ball gets loose out on the warning track in left. So there are 4 left-handers available to Joe Maddon. And with the left-handed heavy presence that are in this lineup for Dave Roberts, plethora of lefties for Maddon. It goes with Wood, and it's fouled out of play. 4-0 game. This game has gone so well for the Dodgers against Jake Arrieta. You look at a pitching matchup coming in, the reigning Cy Young, a guy who's got nasty stuff, against Rich Hill, who has not been dominant. And just when you think you got everything figured out, the whole thing gets dumped on its head. The Cubs still can't figure out Rich Hill, although we'll see if he's going to go out for any more.
Well, the second inning was the inning for the Cubs. It just looked uncomfortable to Rich Hill. Even though it was 2 outs, he had 2 runners on.
Here's a 2-2 fouled away.
And since then, he was in command with his breaking ball. He was fearless on 3-2 counts. He could drop down and throw at any time, in any place, the breaking ball and then the fastball.
See Puig on deck. He'll bat for Reddick to get his arm out in the outfield in the late innings. But right now it's Wood and Gonzalez, and a strikeout starts the frame.
Well, earlier in this inning, Turner, I believe, is sitting all over this pitch. That was a pitch that struck him out the previous at bat. And I think that's a predetermined look for pitch, see it, and then if you see it, don't miss it. And he didn't. That's why he doesn't swing a lot of first pitches, but that was one he was glad that he did, and so are the Dodgers.
That is a loose bunch for Dave Roberts, and that face by Joe Madden tells you all you need to know about the situation for the Cubs as we play here in Game 3. Here's Puig. Actually talked to Justin Turner before tonight's game, and we'll send it to Tom Verducci for more on that discussion. Tom.
Yeah, Dodger Stadium at night, not known for the ball carrying, but Justin Turner telling us there's an easy way to figure out when it does carry. Just check the railing on the top of the Dodger dugout steps. If that's moist, that means the air is moist and the ball doesn't carry. Guys, it sounds like an old sea captain's legend. When the rail is wet, hitters fret. When the rail is dry, watch it fly.
And
it's dry tonight.
Yeah, it has tonight, 2 times over the wall. Wood knocks it down and can't make a play. Puig on with 1 out. And the first hit this postseason for Yasiel.
Yeah, Wood's a pretty good athlete. You see the spin right there, and then where it bounced. That's Puig's first hit since 2014 off of John Lackey. He'll take it. 0 for his last 17 coming into that postseason wise.
And just 1 for his last 26. And Wood was all over the place, but just could not get to the ball in time to make a play at first. Here's Jock Peterson, who was struck out twice. That was against the right-hander Arrieta. Strike 1. The Cubs in the 7th will have Baez, Soler, and Addison Russell, trailing by at least 4. Joe Blanton is now getting ready for the Dodgers in their bullpen. Strike 2.
Well, the Cubs certainly, again, we talk about their 4 starters. They are so equipped to turn this thing all the way, even if it goes to 7, and flip their guys on normal rest. And all the mind games that happen in a best-of-7 series, when you have a creature like a dominant one in Clayton Kershaw, you start thinking differently. You say, oh, we got Clayton Kershaw maybe 2 more times. Well, it's still on short rest if that's the route they decide to go.
Well, it's interesting, and just to go there for a moment, Dave Roberts isn't committing to a Game 5 starter. You would think it would be Kershaw to try to get him 2 more times in this LCS, but Roberts has said, depending on where we are in this series, I may save him to let him refresh if this series were to go back to Wrigley Field in Chicago.
Yeah, I think the only scenario that happens is if they're up 3-1. I don't think another scenario creates anything that makes you feel less of an opportunity to go with Clayton Kershaw.
I would agree with you. Here comes the 0-2. Instead a check on Puig, who does not have a big lead at the moment. 1 on, 1 out. The 0-2 runner goes. Fouled back here. Good rip by Peterson with 2 strikes. Let's give you the in-game box score for the Dodgers, brought to you by T-Mobile One. Utley hitless, but Seager with an RBI, 2 hits. Solo home run for Justin Turner. Back in the 4th inning, a 2-out, 2-run shot by that man, Yasmani Grandal.
And I still maintain that the guy in front of him on third base, Tolles, helped out the situation. If nothing else, pitch selection and getting the one he wanted. He got a 2-run homer out of it.
0-2 the count. Peterson trying to protect. Pops up on the infield for Bryant. 2 out. StatCast is powered by Amazon Web Services.
There's the sinker there, and you see that 398 feet, but 108 miles per hour. That range right there between 105 and 115. Pretty good formula, by the way, scientifically, for a ball to go over the wall if you have the good swing that Grandal had.
Well, now he's turned around to bat right-handed. He's also caught a gem from Rich Hill. Strike 1.
It's interesting, just even seeing the data on some of those numbers. The hardest hit balls usually are not the home runs. They're on the ground. They're rockets, line drives.
Oh, 1 pitch. That was Wood throwing hard. Arrieta went 5+, allowed 4 runs on 6 hits. No walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Here is a 1-1 instead of check on Puig.
Well, the early difference so far in Game 3, we're not done with it, but the Dodgers have had better at bats, even in the game they lost to, Game 1. Better at bats, hit the ball, squared it up. The Cubs, you're not finding enough guys having good enough at bats.
2-1 from Wood. Andrew Tolles scored the first run of the night back in the 3rd. Three and 1. That'll put 2 on with 2 out. And the first walk handed to the Dodgers tonight. Postseason continues tomorrow. Game 5 of the ALCS. The Indians and Blue Jays at 4 Eastern on TBS. Then later on FS1, Game 4 of this NLCS. Cubs and Dodgers. 7:30 Eastern only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. And it will be the 20-year-old Julio Urias. Thrown only 2 innings this postseason against John Lackey, who, by the way, will be making his 22nd career postseason start.
Yeah, both teams throwing rookies. Cleveland throwing a rookie in their game against the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers throwing a rookie. And what both teams are hoping, at least Cleveland's got the 3-1 lead. The Dodgers would sure like to give that youngster a 2-1 lead and a little less pressure than being down 2-1 if they were to rally.
Well, here comes Joe Madden. Howie Kendrick is in the on-deck circle. Kike Hernandez is right behind him. And that's going to be it for the lefty Wood. And we'll see who pops out of that near side of the bullpen for the Cubs. Some of the images from tonight. Is Justin Grimm. His Cubs come out of the bullpen without numbers on the front of their jerseys, tucked away in that corner, and it's the right-hander Grimm. Third pitcher of the game, second of the inning, and it's Kendrick on the pinch hitting assignment here with 2 on 2 out. Andre Ethier is in the on deck circle, with a pitcher Rich Hill would bat if it got there. The battle between Grimm and Kendrick. Strike one.
Grimm, he's got the ability to get right and left-handers out. You saw the fastball right there. Curve and slider. Fastball's pretty straight. He's got good secondary stuff to accompany that fastball.
Kendrick started game 1 against Leicester and went 0 for 3. There are the numbers this postseason. Runners sitting out there for him at first and second, 2 out. And a count of 0-1. Joe Blanton has been up for a long time in that Dodgers pen. Long-time big league starter. Strike 2.
Yeah, spacing out his throws. Once you get hot is the term for a reliever. You then basically are just buying your time when the inning has some pitching changes. But the rush of adrenaline when you get the call and when you get in the game, unlike being a starter, and Blanton, as you mentioned, former starter now, valuable role out of the bullpen for the Dodgers.
Yeah, really big. Nice find for Los Angeles and for Dave Roberts. Here comes a 1-2. 2-2. Home run started the inning off the bat of Turner, and now 2 on 2 out. And a 2-2 pitch. Puig is hopping around back there at second base, and Grimm just was looking at him.
You know, that's all well and good, and he's certainly with 2 outs. Sometimes that messes up your own hitter because he sees that as well. Just get a big lead, stay there, let your hitter hit.
Second baseman Baez knocks it down, and from his knees gets the out, with Puig coming all the way to the plate. But a run is added, and a 4-0 lead after 6 for LA. Welcome back to the NLCS on FS1. Tonight's telecast is presented by T-Mobile One. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Seventh inning. 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Chicago, down by 4, and Joe Blanton takes over. Can't do any better than Rich Hill. He was terrific. A good tight breaking ball starts the inning. Strike one to Baez.
Well, you can see the theme on the Cubs. They respect the ability for them to hit fastballs. It doesn't matter who it is. They're not just going to go ahead with a 4-run lead and lay a few fat ones in there.
1 ball, 1 strike. You see Howie Kendrick stays in the game. He's in left. Puig is in the game in right with his great arm. The other change is this man, Blanton. They gave up the pinch hit grand slam to Montero in game 1 at Wrigley. 1-1. Hard hit right at Turner, 1 out. Coughlin's going to come off the bench and hit.
This one sounded like maybe his bat was broken, which tells me the slider catches off the end of the barrel, but Dodgers in flow and in rhythm and feeling good. 4-0 lead in the 7th, and they know the Cubs, that is. Jansen
is lurking. Coughlin off the bench. 31-year-old outfielder takes a high strike from Blanton at 90 miles per hour. Coughlin batting for Jorge Soler, with Hayward in the on-deck circle. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Joe Madden is going to the bench here in the 7th. It's Pedro Baez along with the young left-hander Grant Dayton getting loose for the Dodgers in their pen. Jammed him. Strike 2.
We're going all the way back. Clayton Kershaw, tremendous game plan. Hit all his spots. Frustrated the Cubs hitters, as he does the whole league. But the game plan has been to frustrate the Cubs hitters by moving the ball in and out, jamming the right guys, spinning the ball on the other guys, and keeping them at bay. Like I said, you know, baseball, pitching, everything gets contagious, it gets streaky, and you can run into the wrong streak at the wrong time in the postseason. That's what the Cubs are dealing with right now, offensively.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on. Chris Coughlin's bounced around in his career. Former Marlin, been with the Cubs, and left the Cubs, went to Oakland, back to Chicago. And there's Hayward on deck. Madden looking for anything to jumpstart this offense. The 2-2. That caught him on the right ankle or foot. So he'll have to shake off that pain, and we'll welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck, along with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz, and this was an impressive night for Rich Hill and for the LA Dodgers to this point.
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of game plan, other than you're going to see a lot of curveballs, but the fastball played extremely well after he established the curveball.
That's a slow roller. Gonzalez to the bag. Safe is the call. And Gonzalez says, challenge it.
Blanton gets in the way, and at the last second, looks like he got the foot down just in time. Well, the sound that the umpires are always listening for is that bang, bang. But when you slide in head first, you don't really hear the hand hit.
It looks like Gonzalez gets him, and he does. This will be reversed.
And fairly quickly.
First base umpire is Angel Hernandez, and clearly the foot's on the bag before the left hand of Coghlan.
And a record time.
Change to an out, 2 out. And now Jason Hayward is going to bat. He's hitting for Addison Russell. If that tells you anything about how Joe Madden feels about where Addison Russell is with his swing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it hasn't remotely come close, really, for Russell so far. Searching, timing, big leg kick, big swing, just hasn't really put together. As you can see, the frustration.
Bases empty, 4-run game. Hayward takes strike 1. Hayward 2 for 18 this postseason. And in the hole in a blink, 0-2. There's another lefty, Montgomery. But right now it's Hayward and Blanton. And Blanton wins that battle. Three pitches. Hayward strikes out. And it's time to stretch. All LA tonight in game 3 to this point, leading 4-0. Here are the changes for the Cubs as the bottom of the 7th inning rolls in. Coughlin stays in the game in left, Hayward in right. That moves Zobrist into second base, and Baez goes from second base to short. Grimm still on the mound. Action for the Cubs in their bullpen. Ball 1 outside as Andre Ethier comes off the bench to pinch hit. He has a home run in this series. 2 for 3 this postseason. Home run in game 1. This one's popped up down the left field line. Coughlin has it, 1 out. T-Mobile One lets MLB fans dig into the game with unlimited LTE data on their smartphones. Show us how you're baseball's #1 fan by using hashtag #UnlimitedBaseball for a free MLB Shop gift code and a chance to win tickets to every 2017 World Series game. You've all been watching Larry King all night back there behind home plate. Red shoes. And Jason Patrick was here earlier tonight with his son Gus.
Every time I see Magic, I just can't help but think about growing up in Lansing, Michigan, and watching him play in high school, college, actually watching him play softball, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. Magic. Everybody's hero in Lansing, Michigan, of course, bringing a championship there, and pretty much championships wherever he goes.
Trying to help get this Dodgers organization back to the World Series for the first time since 1988 when they won it. That was the great Oral Hershiser on the mound and the great Kirk Gibson. Gimpy, but able to hit the home run off Eck to start that World Series. What a charge that was for this LA team to start that fall classic, as Utley is in the hole in a hurry here, 0-2. One out, base is empty, and now 2 out.
Well, you know, you'd never say things are improbable when you talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers and their history and their payroll and really dedication to providing and winning team. But when you see what they went through and the amount of starters they used and the amount of games they were behind the Giants, you could really call this an improbable journey to where they are today. 5-game series against the Nationals, battling all the way. Of course, we documented what Kershaw has done. Moments away from being up 2-1 against the pretty favored Cubs.
Well, that word improbable was used by the great Vin Scully in the home run call when Kirk Gibson went around the bases, part of it. Also, the word impossible was in that call. One of the great moments in World Series history. 2 out, nobody on, a 1-0 pitch. Seager takes a strike, and Justin Grimm has thrown the ball very well.
And what the Dodgers pitching staff has done with their execution and game plan has made the Cubs look really flat. They're not a flat team. The Cubs are opposite of that and how they carry their business.
Seager is on again, his 3rd hit of the night. And the rookie shortstop's heating up. There's 1 for 7 coming in. He's 3 for 4 tonight.
And that's the beauty of a series. That's all it takes sometimes. You know, the course of a season, 162 games, you're going to go through stretches 0 for 10. And then you're going to go through stretches like he is tonight. But getting him going is a great sign for the Dodgers to win 4 games. They're going to need their offense and their bullpen to be spectacular.
Well, Justin Turner homered his last time up. He's 1 for 3. A check on the runner. Turner is 31. He'll turn 32 in November, and this was a guy who was just waiting for a regular chance in the big leagues. Not tendered by the Mets. Joined the Dodgers and hit .340 in his first year here 2 years ago. Grounds to the second baseman, Zobrist. And the inning is over. That sends game number 3 into the 8th inning. Cubs will bat down by 4. is now into the 8th, a 4-0 game. The Dodgers have been in control, still only 2 hits for Chicago. And we're going to see 2 more pinch hitters to start this frame. 2 last inning, Coghlan and Hayward, and now Wilson Contreras against Grant Dayton, the young left-hander. There are his numbers this postseason in 5 games. Contreras first up, batting for Montero. Takes a ball, and in the on-deck circle, it's Almora.
Well, for the Cubs, they got to have an adopted individually, whatever it takes, however, get on base. You first got to get on base. You got to create some kind of momentum going forward, if nothing else, for tomorrow night.
Breaking ball drops in for strike 1. The Cubs' 16 straight scoreless innings ties a franchise postseason record. Went 16 straight in the 1906 World Series. Cubs have gone in order 1, 2, 3 in 11 of the 16. That's just being shut down and being completely off. And this is a good offense. That 06 World Series, by the way, the Cubs lost to the White Sox. 2-1 on Contreras, who I would imagine would be in the starting lineup tomorrow night against Urias. Catching Lackey, we'll wait and see. That got a piece of Grandal. He's fine. 2-2.
Well, we had a series in '91, and a series can turn, right? You see a scenario, what you just read, the amount of innings that they have not scored. The Pirates had shut us out and temporarily had a record for most innings in a row shutting us out. And in the same series, we were able to turn it around and break that record and shut them out the final 2.5 games. And in this series right now, you see the dominance of the pitching and the confidence of the Dodgers ever since Clayton Kershaw started that game. Right now, they'd like to pass the baton on to their youngster with that streak intact.
20 years old, gets the ball tomorrow night. Contreras in a battle. This kid, and there he is. 20 years old, has great stuff. Lost to the Cubs, by the way, earlier in the year, but after losing his first 2 decisions, ended up 5-2, and he'll be the youngest starting pitcher in postseason history when he gets the ball in Game 4 against a veteran, 38-year-old John Lackey. A strikeout starts the inning. Tonight's telecast sponsored by Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. And by Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. Really pleasant night here in LA. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Albert Almora Jr. comes off the bench to hit for Justin Grimm, who went an inning and a third, no runs, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Following Travis Wood, who went 2/3 scoreless. Starter Jake Arrieta, 5+ innings, 4 runs on 6 hits. Hitless this postseason is Almora. Really good outfielder. He showed that in the division series in Game 3 in San Francisco. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little stress in the seats for some of these Cub fans, and there are a lot of them here at Dodger Stadium tonight.
Well, the stress, you know, besides the history, the stress is going back to last year and what the Mets were able to do to the offense and shut down the Cubs. They feel like that might be returning.
Almora's jammed, fouls it out of play, but as you've said a couple of times in tonight's game, this is early in this series.
Yes. And you get caught up. The Cubs won't. Joe Madden won't. You get caught up in where you are in the series and what's left. What's left is tomorrow night, and you get right back in it. Now, Toronto, they faced a different set of circumstances. They can't afford any more hiccups.
Down 3-1 now. Almora in a battle with Dayton.
But it is amazing. I mean, it's amazing how quick it can turn, and you're just looking for that moment to turn. Of course, your next day starter, always the guy, right, that can take you and put you in a much better situation. But I'm a big believer that every time you step on the mound, your job is not only to give your team a chance to win, make it easier for the next guy. And that's what Rich Hill did for the youngster so far tonight.
Urias tomorrow. 2-2.
And I really did have that mindset. I mean, it may seem elementary, but I just said, you know, whether it's Maddox or Glavine, whoever's following me, I want their job to be easier by me doing my job. And that's all I can do that night is do my job. And not on my watch was usually the kind of the mantra I would have. And that's what you got to do.
That's up the middle to his right. Utley surrounds it, gets the out. And these have been quiet outs all night.
And that's the thing. That's what I was saying. The at-bats are ending in pretty less than, I mean, pretty easy fashion, actually. I mean, that's how good of a job the Dodgers have done. The hardest hit ball was Baez in the 7th inning when Kershaw kind of talked his manager into letting him stay, and that ball was hit to the center field wall.
Here's Fowler with 2 out, nobody on. He's hitless tonight. The bright spot for the Cubs in their lineup, Chris Bryant has 2 hits. He's got 4 in this LCS. And Baez lined out tonight. Rich Hill got into trouble only once and got out of it. And got Addison Russell the 2nd and 3rd 1 out on a strikeout back in the 2nd. Then got Montero on a ground out. And since then, the Cubs have not been able to put anything together. Dayton picking up where Blanton left off, who picked up where Rich Hill left off. As Hill is in line for his first career postseason win.
Really love the arm action of Dayton. And when a hitter tells you right there, that might as well have been 99 miles an hour. He has late life on his 4-seamer, smooth arm action out of the glove, and the ball just sneaks up on the hitter.
One-two pitch. Hard hit down the line. Extra bases for Fowler. They'll dig for 2. Kendrick gets to it. It's a 2-out double in the first extra base hit of the night for Chicago. And with Bryant coming up, we'll see if that's it for the lefty Dayton. So a 2-out double. Jansen's down in that bullpen, the closer for the Dodgers. And with Chris Bryant will be the hitter, but he won't face the young left-hander. Prior to that double by Dexter Fowler, the guy coming up, Bryant, the only 2 hits of the night for Chicago. And here comes big number 74. He'll try to shut it down.
Dodgers Game 3 and talk NFL with Ray Lewis.
And you probably have the Cowboys over the Cubs in the World Series.
You never know. Undisputed, 9:30 Eastern.
We're in the 8th inning of a 4-run game, and Chris Bryant will be the hitter against Kenley Jansen, who was sensational in Game 2 and had a 2-inning save to get it done. In the process, threw the fewest pitches for a 2+ inning save in the big leagues this year. Only 2 out of the strike zone as he deals low for ball 1 to Chris Bryant. Under 20 pitches. He's just looking for the final out here in the top of the 8th. Bryant 2 for 3 tonight. Right through it at 93, and in that game, after Clayton Kershaw was dominant through 7, Jansen came in and just shut it down. Kike Hernandez comes in, double switch. He's in left. That moves Kendrick to second base. Pitcher's batting in the spot vacated by Utley. Hernandez bats 9th. Fought it off, fouled it off. Strike 2.
Was as nasty as that pitch is, Jansen will mix up a little bit with his delivery out of the stretch. Sometimes with the glove being different, the leg kick. So he has ways of being a little bit different, even though he only throws 1 pitch for the most part every single time and says, go ahead, try and hit it.
Only 18 pitches in Game 2. 16 strikes. A couple of nights later, here he is. 2-2. The Cubs were chanting, "We don't quit." In Games 3 and 4 in San Francisco against the Giants in the division series. They got a big hill to climb here. 2-2. Inning over. And Jansen has been lights out. Bottom of the 8th inning rolls in as Bryant swings through it. Dodgers lead by 4. 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Dodgers, leading 4-0 as Mike Montgomery, the left-hander, takes over. Bottom of the 8th. Wilson Contreras takes over behind the plate. Montgomery, a nice find for the Cubs. Their front office during the season. That's into left center. Back is Fowler. 1 away. An 0 for 4 night for Adrian Gonzalez. Hit the ball hard twice.
Yes, he did, and his teammates are picking him up. That's what you got to do. Gonzalez right in the middle of everything, and he's documented how good and smooth his stroke is, but Seager getting it going tonight for the Dodgers.
You can experience every postseason moment with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. The only place to get it all: live radio feeds, video highlights, pitch tracking, StatCast, and much more. Download At Bat today. Strike 1 on Puig. First hit of the postseason. This postseason for Puig, his last time up. Ball, 1 strike.
The Dodgers much prefer a right-handed starting pitcher. With all those left-handers they have, and in the postseason, that's been evident. They're 4-1 this year when the opposition starts a right-hander. In the last 10 games here at home, they're 9-1. Johnny Cueto, the only one to beat them in the last 2 months.
Here's a 2-1. Pulled the string. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Julio Urias, who will get the ball for the Dodgers tomorrow night in Game 4, was good in that Game 5 on the road against the Nationals. He'll make his first start, as I said, for Lackey. 22nd career postseason start. Hard hit, base hit, and Puig 2 for 2 tonight. One on, one out. Jock Peterson coming up, and let's check in for a game break with Kevin Burkhardt. All right, guys, thanks. Here's Peterson now with the infield shift on as Bryant will play at a deep second base. Baez, the only one on the left side of the infield, and with Peterson showing bunt, Baez was charging. Jocko for 3.
Talked about it earlier in the series, what the Dodgers have been trying to do with Jock Peterson by playing the game pepper, by trying to get him more an awareness of having control of that bat. Kind of stands there stagnant and then tries to take that big swing. And when he connects, he's got a lot of power.
25 home runs during the regular season. As we said tonight earlier, a big one in Game 5 of the division series against Scherzer and the Nationals. Outside corner, 2-2. Here the home plate umpire, Gary Cederstrom, yelling out strike 2. Joe Carpenter doing our audio. Bob Qua with him, pushing all those buttons to make the sound so good from these ballparks. Saw the defense, and now with 2 strikes, the bunt goes out the window. StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services. 2-2. That was close. Puig left a little early, able to get back. Was 2-0, now 2-2 on Jock Peterson. The Cubs in the 9th inning will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. It's that stretch in the lineup that has been completely shut down by the Dodgers. And so these big bats will get one more crack at LA pitching, albeit at Kenley Jansen for tomorrow night's game. That's down the line. Puig was on the move. He'll dig for third. He comes to the plate. Throw home, not made. 5-0 LA.
This much better bat control. He just kind of slices it in the other opposite field rather than taking that huge swing, and it paid off. Puig on the move easily is going to score, and now this crowd loving it.
Now Peterson stealing third. Safe. And the Dodgers keep coming at these Cubs.
Got the foot in there.
Infield is in. Grandal with a 2-run home run tonight. Big swing. That's up for ball 2. That 2-run shot was on a pitch that was down from Jake Arrieta, made it a 3-0 game back in the 4th.
Big moment in that game too, because he battled him. 2 outs. Coles took third. Battled and got the count in a favorable count and took advantage of a mislocated sinker.
3-0 the count on Grandal. Cubs have talked about how loose they were even after losing that 13-inning game in the division series. They've been so good all year. 103 wins to lead baseball. Won their division by 17.5 games. There's a strike. They won game 1 on the pinch hit grand slam by Montero. Lost game 2 to Kershaw. Joe Madden had some of his players wake him up on the charter flight out here to LA after that game 2. He's back there, said the guys were loose. Don't know how loose they'll be tomorrow. Here's Baez. A juggle. Run scores out at first. 6-0 with 2 out in the 8th.
Got a do-or-die play, and you could see how frustrated he was when he didn't come up. Hits the heel of his glove. We talked about in the beginning of this game, some of the keys for the Dodgers were going to be make the Cubs work for everything. Put stress on their pitchers. On the base passes, take advantage. And they have done that. They've put pressure on. They've gotten runners in scoring position, and they've delivered.
A 1 pitch to Kendrick. But at the heart of it all for the Dodgers tonight, the veteran left-hander Rich Hill.
He's outstanding.
6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. Both coming in the 2nd, got around him. And he was fooling the Cub hitters all night. And then Blanton, and then Dayton, and now him, Jansen. A strikeout ends the 8th. But 2 more runs are on the board for LA. With their closer on the mound, Jansen. Kenley going back to work. Dodgers clapping about a 6-0 lead in Game 3. Six runs for Kenley Jansen. Came on with a 4-run lead in the 8th inning. Not a save situation for Kenley, but nobody cares about those statistics at the moment. All the Dodgers want is to go up 2-1 against the favored Cubs. Winners of 103 regular season games. Dodgers won 91 as they won the West by 4. Zobrist 0 for 3. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, if possible, the Cubs would like small victory here in the 9th inning by making Jansen work as hard as he possibly can. On the flip side, Dave Roberts would like to see a 9-pitch inning just to keep him fresh for multiple innings tomorrow.
There's a point to be made along those lines about what Rich Hill did, giving length tonight. 6 innings. It's been Blanton for 1 inning, Dayton for 2/3. They have arms all over the place for tomorrow night's game with Julio Urias on the mound. The 20-year-old getting his first postseason start. He's only gone 2 innings this postseason. 2-2.
Yeah, and that's crucial because you know that's what it's going to be. They're not going to let the young kid stay out there for anything other than what he's able to do, and if he looks good, certainly he'll stay there. But then potentially Kershaw after that. There's where your innings can be eaten up by the bullpen, then saved by him.
Full count.
And especially with 3 games in a row, I mean, in a perfect world, the Cubs would have liked to have gotten in that bullpen with the lead and made them work, or at least a closer game, and make them work hard for 3 straight days. This wasn't much of a stressful situation past the 5th.
Zobrist trying to get on to start the 9th. That won't do the trick. 1 out. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Novartis and by Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile.
Well, believe it or not, Rizzo's kind of glad that Jansen's in there, because tonight he's seen 14 curveballs. Never seen more than 9 in any one of his games in his career. So I don't think he's going to see one here, but 14 of them they attacked Rizzo tonight with the breaking ball.
So here he is looking for his first hit of this series and just his second of the postseason, and he has to get it against Kenley Jansen. 0 for 10 in this NLCS. Did draw a walk back in the second, stole a base.
And there is some value, I mean, in a losing situation for the Cubs, to get some more looks at Jansen for the rest of the series. The more you get, the better chance you have, even though he's been super nasty.
One to Rizzo. Shattered bat. Nobody hit by it, and nobody can get to the ball. They're playing so deep. Rizzo gets an infield hit, and he'll take it any way he can get it right now.
Oh, you aren't kidding. I mean, this eats up the lumber. This is not fair. Bat goes flying. Ball, of course. Jansen's trying to get out of the way of splinters. I watched 4 consecutive, I believe it was 4 consecutive bats that Mariano Rivera broke in the World Series against us. And all you can do sometimes is laugh. But in this case, for Rizzo, a hit is a hit at this point.
1 on, 1 out. The batter will be Baez, who lined out to third his last time up, but he's 0 for 3. Six-run game here in Game 3. In Major League Baseball history, the franchise that's played the most postseason games, the Yankees. The Cardinals #2, the Dodgers #3. This for the Dodgers, their 200th postseason game in their franchise history. They've never had back-to-back shutouts.
That's an eyebrow raise there. I would have guessed against that.
They won 1-0 on Sunday night in Game 2. They lead 6-0 tonight in Game 3. Rizzo running. 2 out.
There's that different delay in his windup. He has a couple different ways to mess with the timing of the hitter.
They will not give a stolen base to Rizzo.
Watch this right here. He gets to the stretch, and it's almost like a double move here. Up, down, up, long. A little different.
There's Rich Hill, a star tonight. Here's Coughlin, his second at bat. Grounded out to first. Back in the 7th. Runner at second, 2 out. Strike one. The 20-year-old gets the ball tomorrow night. Strike 2. Foul ball.
Tell you what, he looks locked in, and if you're the Cubs, you know the rest of the series you can't afford trailing late, because after those 52 pitches that he threw in Game 5 for the Dodgers to get to this point, Game 2 and Game 3 is a different looking Jansen.
Win Game 3, 6-0. Three-hour, 18-minute game. The winner is Rich Hill. The loser is Jake Arrieta. No save. What a night for Rich Hill. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits. Dominant tonight. And the Dodgers had every part of their game working here in Game 3.
Yeah, they really did, and it was a dominant performance all the way around. The Cubs have looked very beatable the last few games offensively, and they're going to need to right the ship against the youngster tomorrow. But right now, the Dodgers feeling really good about what's looming ahead.
Well, the Cubs haven't been pressed really all year. They got out to the great start, 25-6. They are trailing in this NLCS 2-1. Great pitching, some power, good defense for the Dodgers. Leading the NLCS, Kevin Guys, all yours.